Today we're going to be talking about video. But before we do that, I want to give a little bit of an announcement for you guys. If you haven't been to our website, this is it right here. It's uh.edu/class/OET. This is an important website because you find all of us there. And we're here to help you. So if you go to this website, you'll find things like faculty services and faculty resources, and as well as the emerging trends where you can find when and where our next workshops will be for you. If you hit that faculty services site, you get here. And this is great because this is where you can make requests of our consultation from our instructional designers, and this is where you can get to me. Again, today we're going to be talking about video and how to engage your students through video. And I'll give it to my colleague, Sammy.
Hi, my name is Hwang. I'm one of the instructional designers at the class, College of Liberal Arts and Social Science. We instructional designers here to help you to design your online courses regarding technology integration and online learning. Some of you may not know that what we are doing exactly, but we as an online learning expertise, we do have an online learning expert, so we can help you out. Even though you don't have no technology expertise, we can help you out your technology integration and online learning course design. And we designed this presentation is more informative and more conversational one. So I'm playing a role of guidance and moderator. And let me introduce our main presenter.
Thank you. So I'm Wayne Thomas. I'm new. I just came from North Dakota in September. I took a little hiatus in Nebraska during Hurricane Harvey. Nebraska is really a good place to be that time of year, I found out. So I really enjoyed that trip. And so I'm still learning Houston, trying to get my way around, but I really appreciate and I feel really privileged to be able to speak with you all today. In North Dakota, I was an instructor at a 2-year school. It was a small school. Matter of fact, you guys are about the size of the entire student body, I think, of that college. But before then, I was a photographer, and so the first thing I got to do when I was in Houston is I got a nice photograph of the skyline. And my camera and I have been around the world. I've been to Myanmar. I've had nice assignments through the Associated Press. I've worked major sporting events, and my small film went to 7 different film festivals. And I only say that because I now have experience, and I want to let you know that I've done this. I've worked in the high-end shoots for commercial projects as well as news. So here I am at the University of Houston, and my job here is to help you. So I'm here for you. Sammy.
Okay. The structure of our presentation goes like this. In 2015, September 11, Taylor from FDIS made some excellent presentation on videos integration. Those of you who now watch that emerging trend, I strongly recommend you to view to see the foundation of best practice and tools. In our presentation, we try to cover something that he didn't cover. So we came up with some article that we recently read, and we combined our own best practice. Even though this study had certain sort of limitation, it gave some practical suggestion at the end. So we think it can be a good study to introduce. The interesting thing about, let me briefly talk about this study. Before we go further, how many of you use other people's lecture in your class?
Other instructor?
Yeah,
Resources.
something available on YouTube. How many of you create your own video and use? Okay. So one of the interesting studies we recently read, like I said, these 3 MIT professors try to find connection between length of video that students watch and level of student engagement. Okay. There is a limitation because these researchers cannot directly observe students' activity. However, this is the first study that made in almost 6.9 million. They analyzed the viewers. And one interesting point is that they interviewed 6 videographers who create online videos. So previously, many in the study usually interview or survey students and try to identify their motivation or just interview faculty members. But this is almost first study I found, and to interview and analyze people who work behind the scene, just like instructional design. So we will go through 3 talking points, and after talking point, we will have some Q&A to make it more engaging and interactive. And then after that, we will have some final thought and additional resources that we found for you. So talking point number 1. According to this study, shorter videos are much more engaging. Invest heavily in pre-production lesson, plan to segment videos into chunks shorter than 6 minutes. Could you elaborate on that?
So who actually talks for 6 minutes? You do?
I actually have been doing this, and all of mine are 6 minutes, and it's really hard.
It is really hard. I can't imagine, because how many of you are lecturing for an hour? 2 hours, right? There you go. That's what we're used to. How on earth do we do 6 minutes? Well, who has done it in 6 minutes? Only 2. Well, then this is great.
Just in general.
Sorry?
In for video or in the class?
For video.
Oh, not for video.
You've done it in the classroom, though.
Yeah, you break everything up into 6 chunks.
No, okay, how do you do that? Do you have a timer, or what do you do? What's your trick?
No, it's just for me personally, it's like, okay, I have this many things that I need as far as points that they need to get in their lesson. And then for each one, I try to set up a 6-minute conversation, lecture, 6 minutes of conversation amongst the class, or a 6-minute exercise with the classwork, and then 6 minutes somewhere in there of reflection around that. And so it burns up a whole bunch of time. I'm not talking the entire time. They're engaged the entire time. So at the end of the day, people get bored after 6 minutes.
That's fantastic. That's great. What about you? What do you do?
I'm doing it online, so I animate all my lectures.
You animate all your lectures.
Yeah. So they've got my characters. He actually, I'm an avatar.
Go animate.
Yeah, I use Go Animate.
That's fantastic. So what I've heard 2 things. I've heard planning. Thank you. Because you specifically set out to make this happen. And you chunk it up previously when you're making your plan.
Yeah, or I'll lose them.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you are a perfect candidate to switch this thing, put a video camera in front of you, and you're already ready to go. You're perfect. This is fantastic.
Some people would think.
Well, today's your day. Today's your day. So planning, I think, is huge. When I was giving my lectures, I had a whole bunch of stuff to go through, and all I was trying to do was do active engagement, check in every now and then, get some faces and heads to nod for me like that, and just make sure we're working. Man, all you have now is you've got a video camera sitting in front of you. That's tough. That's tough. So you've got to make this thing a plan, and you've got to. 6 minutes isn't like the magic moment, but as soon as you see 6 minutes go by, you need to start hearing clicks. Those are the clicks of their mouses going off to YouTube or to Snapchat or somewhere else. That's what's happening. That's what's happening, because there's other things that are more blinky and shiny, right? So you've got to make sure that somewhere after 6 minutes, 12, it's a nosedive. 12 minutes, they're gone. Okay? Now, I don't care if they're 18 or if they're 30 or if they're 50. I'm afraid to say you and I are a lot like this as well. I mean, I get bored, and it's got to be something interesting, or they got to be cats. Some other ideas to help you out. A 1,000-word script will take you about 6 minutes to get through. Using a teleprompter. Who here has a teleprompter? I love it because I do. And who gets to use it? You have one?
Well, it's built into Office Mix.
It's true. It's true. Mine's better. Mine's better. The reason mine's better is because mine sits right in front of the camera lens. And when you're looking at those letters, you're looking right at the camera. So the audience can tell if you're looking at the camera. So yours is great. I don't mean to, but mine's great, and it's yours to use. So we have a teleprompter. It's actually new since I've gotten here. And you're welcome to come into the studio and use it. Also, speaking at 150 words per minute will get you there. That's also going to be helpful for the next point that we make as well. Cliffhang the lecture. Who knows what I'm talking about? Who's got? I see you nodding your head. What am I talking about?
1001 Nights. Sherazade. She cliffhung every story and got to live another night.
Yeah. So just cliffhang it. I'll give you the answer when you come back. It worked for The Price is Right. It can work for us. Okay? You guys love Blackboard and asking those questions, right? So drop a question. Here's a question for you. We're going to touch base real quick, answer the question, come back after the question, we'll continue on. Just pause for a question, touch base with the students, make sure they know. It's also a little bit of an attendance marker as well.
Yeah. Explain to me how you would do that. Is this synchronous or asynchronous video? I mean, are they on all at the same time, or are they watching it whenever they feel?
I think this is pay-per-view. This is whenever they want to watch it.
So
Yeah.
pause in the video, have them go to do something on Blackboard and come back?
I believe in this system that we have here, your question is right there underneath the video. Is that how our Blackboard works?
Not Blackboard. Actually, MOOC has that function. If you want to use Blackboard, there's a software computation. You can do that and integrate your computation video to Blackboard, and you can do that. So Blackboard doesn't provide a direct function for that. I'm sorry to say that.
Right. And that's what everybody be using.
Mm.
I was
All right,
just going
it
to say,
was a good
like
concept,
a 6-second lecture one video, then they can go to the question link, and then there's
Yeah, that's an
yeah, that's, I think that's
alternative.
what
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
do that with different items. So lecture video, question, we put in here.
She says lecture video, then question, and then lecture video in your online course,
So yeah, you can go to the module with those items.
inside the module.
There's a question, Andre. I always turn off my discussion questions so that they can't see the discussion questions or the other people's answers, so it's a selective release. So could you do that with the videos as well? So you have a 6-minute video, have a question, they can't go to the next video until they answer the question. And so then they can do it whenever they want, but they still have to move through the course as you want them to. And they can, do it all in a week if they want it, but they can't skip just to the last video.
Now you just set up an adaptive release for
Yeah,
each question.
okay.
So Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
It works with the discussion questions really well.
Nice.
Yeah, it works with it.
Does that help you out? Does that answer your question?
Not necessarily, but I know what you're talking about. That is selective release. So she's saying make separate videos. They answer the question, then the next video gets released.
Right.
But before you go on, it's nice that you have a teleprompter. I mean, I can take that whole thing home and do it at my house.
I'm going to welcome you into my studio.
Now, is there software? I mean, we all have webcams. Isn't there software that would create a teleprompter that I could use under my webcam?
Yes, I'm using one on an iPad, as a matter of fact, with my teleprompter. So I don't know what it's going to be for your desktop, but yes, there is. The other next thing is just simply in editing. If you haven't already, you're gonna start learning about video editing, and you can simply just make the cut. You can find a pause somewhere in your communication, make the cut inside of the video editor, and then catch it up on the next time. Sometimes what's nice though is to give a little buffer. Come back 10 seconds on the next video so that they can, oh yeah, I remember that the professor just said this, now we're on to the new material. So sometimes if you just don't plan it, you can just simply make the cut. It's not the best solution in my opinion, but if you get stuck, I'd rather see you do that than throw out a 30-minute video. Any more questions on this? Yes, sir.
Okay, what kind of video are you talking about? And what format is the best format? Things like that. MP4, WMV, QuickTime.
What are you using now?
WMV.
Okay, and so you're on a PC?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's fine too. That's a universal system because a lot of this stuff. And so where are you publishing to?
Course site, which is Blackboard.
Okay. Now, what I might need help with is on Coursera. Do they have?
Coursera. Coursite is a public version of Blackboard.
Okay. Does Blackboard have a required?
The same things, the same video format. MP4 is the most common. MP4 file is the most common.
Yeah, they told me that too, and they said MP4 was smaller, but it's not smaller. I mean, I converted 2 videos that I made using GoToMeeting, and same video, like from the raw format, to MP4 was 3 times larger than the WMV version. Now that could just be an anomaly of GoToMeeting's conversions and stuff like that, but yeah, I really wanted to know which was the best format because you can get it in any format, and you want the smallest format.
And then which editor then do you use to move it into that format?
They have one built in. So GoToMeeting allows me to record everything on my desktop and my voice. So it happens that what I'm doing is really showing and demonstrating some things. So I don't need me in the video, but using Office Mix, I can splice me into, like I can record myself, and then in Office Mix, I can have me and then that video. So GoToMeeting has a converter to convert what it captures on the desktop and the voice into either WMV or MP4. So I tried both to see which one was smaller.
Sure.
Mostly because Blackboard doesn't seem to like WMV as much as, but Blackboard and Coursite have limits, quotas on storage.
Sure. Yeah.
So if you store the video externally, like on YouTube or on your own server or on your own website and link to it, then you don't care about the storage. But if you're storing it within Blackboard, then you do have some limits, and so you want to keep it as small as possible.
I mean, if you can visit our studio, we have our own convert software. We usually use a media encoder, so we can try to solve
it's
different.
to visit your studio part.
Oh. More than welcome.
The other thing, I think there's going to be a better solution. We'll talk about here at the end. But in the meantime, there are free video encoders that you can download, and then you can convert to whatever you want to.
Yeah, and that would be nice having that resource. That would.
Okay.
Same thing with the teleprompter. That's a good idea because using it in Office Mix, you only see 3 lines at a time.
Right. Right.
So
So you're interested in more tools, more specific tools.
Sure.
You're perfect for being here. So keep your ears open.
I think Taylor has some.
Yeah, I would suggest Handbrake. It's an encoding software. It's free, and that really crunches the heck out of videos. The other point I was going to make is Office Mix
Yeah.
is soon to be no more. So recording within PowerPoint, you need to upgrade your PowerPoint to the most recent version. And then they've integrated all the features of Office Mix into PowerPoint.
Right. Interesting.
Right.
Yeah. Which is coming soon. So.
Perfect. Sir?
I know we're talking about video and such, but when I'm thinking about the end user, which is a student, in my particular case, even graduate students, my concern is, am I going to be able to rip the audio from the video such that it can be created into a podcast of some type, so that when they're driving, whether we hear the kids speak in their ears, they have something to listen to and put the kids to sleep, so to speak.
You're going to come to the second part, the audio. I think audio is a huge, important part as well. We totally agree with you. So I think we are going to touch on it on second part as well.
But I will ask this, Taylor, in Handbrake, can you pull out a podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can separate. I think even Camtasia allows you separate audio.
Yeah, we used to use Handbrake a lot, but there is some certain legal issues as well. That's why we decided not to use it. But yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Would you mind speaking at 150 words a minute so that, is that fast or is that slow?
It's pretty up tempo, and so the way I found out about how to do it is go to YouTube and search for 150 words per minute, and you can start hearing how they're doing it. But it's also that 1,000. If you put 1,000 words in front of you at 6 minutes, it's that whole math equation right there. So chunking the 1,000 words in, and going with that. But the way I was doing it was listening to YouTube, finding somebody who's doing it at that pace, and speaking at that level.
The other thing that I have, though, is that the course I teach has a collection of videos by various professors, and some have foreign accents, and my students have told me that you have to slow down the video to make them more clear to understand.
Yeah, just like me talking. Yeah, I have to slow it down. So yeah, that's a perfect example. Yeah, it depends on case by case. This is not like a firm rule that you must have 6 minutes. It depends on your course content and also who's your audience. And like you said, if your instructor it has a heavy foreign accent, I have some Korean accent. Then have to be aware of that. I will try to slow it down and speak louder.
Sir?
One of the things I want to point out, when you mentioned script, and I think that's really important because ultimately you're going to have to be ADA compliant, and you're going to have a script and make that script available. But also, one thing we are all not really covering is we really have three, or I anyhow, have three distinct audiences or customers, if you will. Undergraduates, graduate students, and professional development. And each of those three, because they each have a different level of commitment, have a different level of engagement. You don't necessarily have to have 6-minute videos for professional development. They can figure out how to start and stop them on their own, by the way. So I think that's really important when you're developing a course. Keep in mind who your audience is, because it's very, very different. And also, Office Mix does create mobile versions. They're not, so they can listen on their phone and things like that when you do that.
So glad that you mentioned ADA and accessibility issues. So we have some slides for that. So we will also talk about it.
Yeah, Stanford had to take down a lot of courses, I heard, because they were not ADA compliant.
Exactly. Harvard and MIT got sued, and Stanford got sued twice. Yes.
Sir?
The script just makes it
How
easier.
practical is it to ask an instructor to take a 2-hour, lecture recording and break it down into 6-minute chunks? Because I had an instructor ask me that yesterday, and I said, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, well, she just told you. It's tough.
Yeah, it is. I'm assuming.
It's very tough.
My first semester to do it in my online class, and it doesn't look real pretty right now.
Yeah.
It's gonna take some time, because I'm gonna have to redo them over again.
Well, yeah, but that's,
Instructors are doing research and stuff like that. I mean,
You can start a plan, right? Next time in the lecture, you can start planning, like you said.
yeah. Here's the upside to this, and I know it doesn't help you out now, but the upside is once you've got it, you've got it. And then you can reuse that again. And you don't have a lifetime of use out of it. But it's tough. It just is. But we're trying to engage the students. We're trying to help them out as best we can, and that's all we want to do. So I hear you. I hear you. It's tough. It's tough. I saw another hand.
Are you going to cover closed caption?
That'll be touched on at the end.
Not for this. Like, are you curious about open caption, closed caption? What's the difference between
the
transcript?
speaking part, but when I think about the students, especially foreign students, when I assign them things that they have to watch, closed captioning helps them a lot, especially if I'm speaking fast. People aren't going to Estonians aren't going to understand what I say. Let alone someone who's not from here. So closed captioning is a really important thing for my students when I give them video type stuff.
University of Oregon recently published nationwide research based on like caption, and so we can give you some resources for that as well. Yeah. Move on to the second point. Ready to the second point? So, according to this study, there are 4 types of video format, but on our campus we use 6. But this study just focus on 4 studies. 4 lectures, 4 types of lectures. Of course, like talking head, and then lecture title, and then third one is academic style using your Padlet. I'm sure Sunhong popularized his way of personalizing presentation. It becomes huge. So in K-12, and then just like screen capture. And then from this study, what they found was the videos where instructors speak very fast and with high enthusiasm are more engaging. According to this study, I know it depends on our context, but like you said, it depends on who your instructor is. If she or he is foreigner, they have to slow down, I guess. But like I said, according to this study, coach instructors to bring out their enthusiasm and reassure that they do not need to purposely slow down. In other words, delivery matters. And Wayne is going to elaborate on that. Wayne.
All right. So, delivery of presentation is important. I'm going to move a little quicker here through this area. The pacing, we've already talked about the pacing. The talking head, here's something that's bizarre for me, because I'm not sure that anybody's really interested in seeing my face, but the students are. The students are. The data shows that your eyes are important, and it's backed up with the whole idea that when you walk into a store and you see the magazine rack, you see the faces, because publishers know that if there's a face on the cover of the magazine, you're more likely to pay attention to it, because people are looking for eyeballs. So students are interested in seeing your eyeballs and looking at your face, whether it's a small thing up in the top, which it sounds like you're doing. They do want to see it, as opposed to just looking at slides going by. The slides going by is getting tougher and tougher for people to take in. Being passionate about what you talk about. Okay, who's a fisherman here? There's one, that's 2. Perfect. So I was in Ohio, I grew up in Ohio, and I went with my brother to a place that he was so excited about, and it's a place that all they did was fishing lures, wooden fishing lures. I could care less about wooden fishing lures, but this storekeep was so passionate about these fishing lures. I sat for 2 hours and listened to them talk about the purple one and the red one and the blinky one and the glow-in-the-dark one. I still have no idea, but I was so interested. And you know how that is. I changed majors in undergrad because of Dr. Bob Abelman was so exciting. I'd walk into his Communication 101 class in sweatpants and sweatshirt, knowing I was going to sleep for 2 hours. And I could never sleep because this guy just had me at the moment I walked in the door. I love that guy, and I loved what he did for us as students. So that's contagious. So that conveys through video. That exact same thing, the eyeballs, the passion, the rate of your communication, but it's also about naturalness as well. It's still, you want to be natural. You don't want to be selling real estate or anything like that, but not that that's bad, but you know what I'm saying? It's just being yourself, being natural, and I think this is your time.
Yeah. The little squares at the bottom of the screen, that's sufficient.
Yeah, eyeballs.
I can't imagine trying to present accounting information with me being much.
Oh, there's so many ways to do just that. And I've got another slide coming up that's going to show you how you can do different things with your face. But simply just having you there is fine. Yeah, it's just fine. Well, let's talk about any more questions on the presentation idea.
Yeah, I kind of struggle with this because I almost feel like I need to sign up for acting classes to be a professor these days. But one thing that I've kind of struggled with is I use the animation, which is my voice, and I sync my, so it's me talking and everything. But I did that because I don't like my picture on video. I just don't like the way I look, and I hate having pictures. But my students haven't said this, but I've had other people talk about needing to have your face in there as well. So the character is me, which looks like me and everything. But I'm wondering have you seen any research where people mix those two mediums so some of your lectures might be the character or the animation, and then the next one might be kind of like a lecture that would allow you to do a talking head. Because some of my lectures lend very nicely into I'd love to be in your studio and just be able to talk about it with them. But others are ones that really are very nicely situated for the avatar, for the character to talk and move and do things. Mm-hmm. Have you seen any research where people mix like that? Would that be more confusing for the students?
On top of my head, I couldn't find that kind of research yet. I think it's kind of pretty new at this point. Yeah, but I'm sure there are some researchers who are doing that kind of research as well, like animation-wise and like virtual reality. They put a lot of character in the virtual reality setting. So.
Well, how I found out about this, I was at an accounting class at Wharton actually, that was online, accounting analytics. And it was Go Animate, so it was all animated. But then they had his face, he was talking, and he was in the chalkboard, was the professor. So that's another way. I just don't know how to do that in Go Animate. I haven't figured it out yet, but it was pretty cool.
And then Richard Meyer, multimedia, he does a lot of that kind. Let me take it back. Richard Meyer did a lot of research on like multimedia learning, but I will check and get back to you because he does something like animation, multimedia, audio, those kinds of things.
Adobe has a piece of software I saw a nephew of mine using over the summer where it'll use your camera.
Captivate.
Is it Captivate or is it Animate?
Which one? Captivate, Lectora, Articulate.
Put everything into Captivate. Captivate will create the finished product, and there's another one that animated. There's two programs. It's all part of the Creative Suite, which you can get at an academic discount.
Yeah, good.
And I think that's probably really quality stuff, by the way.
That's what we're using.
Yeah.
Which one is that?
The Adobe Creative Suite.
And then speaking of Adobe Creative Suite, and then there is a software called Captivate, Adobe Captivate, which allows you to create interactive video, not just
one. I just mentioned?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that. And then along with that, there is also, I noticed that on campus, some department use Articulate and others called Lectora, and these are the three software on this market.
the nice thing about Adobe Creative Suite, like, so I use Photoshop to get screenshots of navigation where then I can draw circles, you know, so I have introductory videos and things where that shows them how, or introductory learning modules where they can see how to navigate. You can't assume anything. And so you show them everything, and so Photoshop, you know, and I can put all that together, but I'm used to Creative Suite from using Photoshop and Illustrator and InDesign. And so to someone who's used to it, that's the same menu structure. So it's complicated, but you can figure out how to do what you needed to do through that. So I'd highly recommend that, especially with an educator's discount.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge.
Actually, isn't that all online now? Isn't that all cloud?
A lot of it is.
Yeah, in
So
design.
it's possible you can get a department license. Do they sell department licenses?
We are not sure about that.
How do we buy it?
We buy it through Cougar Buy,
Yeah.
but they were able to bundle us with School of Architecture, but we pay individual licenses through our office.
Yeah, but it's still discounted.
Yeah, I think it's like $200 a year.
Yeah.
It's still a yearly subscription.
It takes up a lot less room on your computers or whatever.
And nice because you can use it on your work computer. You can use it at home as long as you only have one on it.
Oh, one person active at a time?
Right, because the license is assigned to a person. So if you're at work, you wouldn't be using it at home.
Right.
But when you're home, you can log on.
Right, but if someone else in my department was using it at the same time I was,
I had to buy individual licenses for all 9 of us.
but if you, all 9 of you have individual licenses, all 9 of you can use it at home at the same time.
Yeah, they're not connected.
Yeah.
For the last part of the main subject, Sammy's going to start off here with some information about production value.
Okay, the last talking point is that according to this study, the study found that there is no correlation between having high fidelity good equipment and a low one. And that means videos using our fancy equipment did not show the higher engaging or higher engaging on data. It means that a fancy video does not guarantee an engaging video. That means instructors can try videotape in an informal setting. That is very encouraging news. And Wayne is going to elaborate on that.
What that means to me is Sammy's great with data. I'm good with the low common stuff. That means the bar's low. The bar's low, right? You don't have to have a big fancy studio. So here's what it boils down to. Just as a summary, get those segments to 6 minutes. Do you see what I've done here with the D's? Delivery of presentation. What's the last D? This is where it comes to the rubber meets the road. You just got to do it. You just got to try it. You got to, because here's the thing that I found with video. You can probably get away with a different style of video than I can, because it's personality linked. She's got this amazing thing with animation. That probably would not work for me, right? But it works for her. And so the thing is you got to start trying. You got to start trying. You got to dig in. Maybe the idea is you're sitting at your desk and you've got the camera there. Maybe it's better if you're in the studio. Maybe it's better if you're outside at a picnic table. I'm not sure. It's all going to be depending on what works for you and what you have available to you also. Because the web cameras on those computers are now just fine for what we're doing. Most of them all are recording in 1080i, which is more information than you'll ever want to know. But it's fine for showing up on the video screen. Okay, we're not. I don't mean to really push the bar low, but we're not out making Emmys. We're trying to push information into the next field of students. So we all do want a good quality product, but don't let that intimidate you. A couple things that we're going to keep in mind. Now, I think I'm addressing you right here. Look at this information behind the instructor. The instructor is in a studio with a green screen. So we can plug in data behind them, whether it's accounting or whatever, just like the local weather person. You know how they're doing all that information? We have that technology in the studio, which again is available to who? To you. Exactly. This is TON. This is MediaSite. We have MediaSite. We can record you on MediaSite. We're on one side. You've got the individual speaking. Over here, this is the slide presentation. They're running simultaneously. You're probably all familiar with MediaSite, though, aren't you? Okay. This is the casual, hey, come into my house. We're going to just have a little chit-chat session. This probably works very well.
Background there, too.
Yeah, right? Catchy. And then this is another one with a little bit more professional lighting that, again, we can help you out with, or we can show you how to do this. So there's a bunch of...
With hospitality, the hospitality has a lot of really good videos. They have an online master's program, and they have excellent videos that use a lot of that backdrop, the green screen stuff.
Yeah, sweet. I haven't personally, but I'm sure somebody here on campus is. Sir?
Maybe this is past this part. Who owns the content?
Boy, that's going to be a question for my boss.
But
That is very debatable in class. What we have always been told is that you put it in your course, it belongs to UH. However, if you want to take your content because you're going to another university or something, in class we have been able to download that and give you a copy, because really once you leave UH, it's probably never used again, it's never seen again. So that's how we've been handling it. We've done that for years.
Well, the faculty handbook says that you own your course material, not the university.
Well, you need to speak with the attorney, his name is Bentley, and Eric Bentley.
It's Eric Bentley.
Yeah, and what he has said is if it's created on UH equipment, it's on UH property, it's UH's.
Just tell me what it says in the faculty handbook.
And with respect to the students, do they have access to, are the videos portable, and can they keep them, or is there a mechanism in place where they're portable but they self-destruct or something like that?
Usually the videos that we're using, if it's on MediaSite, it's usually only available through Blackboard, and they have to have that link. And
they can't download it.
That's it.
Right.
They can still record it.
Like Office Mix, I don't think they can download it. That's the beauty of Office Mix.
And even a lot of times faculty don't want their PowerPoints downloaded, and so they will create them as video format so that students don't download them, and they just give them a template and Blackboard.
I can address the legal issues a little bit, I've encountered this. I'm an adjunct, I teach at 4 different schools, so I've actually had that legal argument from different places, and I developed mine on my own computer. I have my own copies. Those copies that I make on my own computer are mine. The copies that I put up are the school's. So I have intellectual property content of the information the school can't use the copies I make and post. So they have a legal copy. It's almost like I made a copy for them. I released them to use it for whatever I want. But because I made it on my equipment at home, that version is mine, and so I can use that any way I want. And I've had that problem because I made content that was put out on the internet without my permission, and the school didn't like that it was out there, so they went after somebody, and this was not another school. And so that was how I learned this. The version I made on my computer is mine.
Yeah, I copyright all my slides.
Yeah.
I would want to add one thing just from my own experience. He says, do it. Yeah, I agree, do it. But it is time consuming. First of all, just the learning curve. I must have put 50 to 75 hours into just learning. It takes, I figure, 3 to 3.5 hours for every hour of recording that I did, between writing the scripts, practicing the scripts, which is a decent idea, So I think it's great, and the truth is, once it's in the can forever, and you can use it over and over again. So you're creating a reusable asset. But do not underestimate how long that learning curve can be. It does accelerate after you get used to it for a while, but I mean, it's long. If you want to create something that's really quality. I don't mean the video, I mean the whole course. If you want to create a quality course, you got to put the time in to figure it out.
Let me piggyback right off of that. Here's a question for everybody here. I want to be able in this 1 hour session to teach you everything about video, but you know I can't.
Yeah.
Is anybody interested, if I put together workshops, hands-on workshops, would anybody show up?
Yes.
Okay.
Like to learn how to like make a video and then like put stuff on it.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that. Like I'm talking and then like, here's this thing that, you know.
I wish I could have told you that like right now, but in an hour, no one, see and he is totally right. The video is, you can get to it, but video is a lot more than people think. So, but once you figured it out, then you're like, oh, okay, I got this.
Right.
So, but there is a curve. It's a fascinating curve, though. I love it. So here's what we're planning on doing then. Linda and I have talked about this week about if there was some interest, then we're going to try to fill that interest. And so what I'd like you to do is look in your inbox for a survey coming from us within the next 2 weeks. Please sign up. And then we're gonna put together hands-on where we're gonna actually create stuff ourselves. So you can see how it's done, you can play with it, and we can have actually maybe some fun even. Who knows? I don't know.
And I just wanted to get from class, and every college has an instructional design team sort of assigned to them, but we can all work together. It's not that we have to be little separate islands everywhere, and we'd rather give this information out, make it easier for everybody. So Wei may set up the training and Wei may do the training, but our hope is that instructional designers across campus will also lend a hand to everyone's benefit. So all faculty can have the same information.
Amazingly innovative for this school, or any school. Well, so you don't have to have every design team learn everything, just fully expertise.
Exactly. I mean, I know JC here does a lot of media site and other video, and so you're from engineering. And so they may have a lot of it covered, but maybe there's other things that they benefit from. Even though he's doing it, he's helping them out. I now have a photographer, videographer who can also present things, and I have 4 instructional designers, and there's so many. Anjana's instructional designers. There's a lot of them here that can also benefit from this. Taylor's included. There's a lot of people even in this room.
And one other thing, I wouldn't underestimate the value of Collaborate, which is built into Blackboard. I mean, you do have to download software, but you can make videos out of Collaborate, and it will capture your face and movements if you want to. But again, that is not an insignificant learning curve on Collaborate. So a workshop in Collaborate would be useful.
Yeah.
That is like web conferencing tool, so we can.
But it's not just a it is a web conferencing tool, but you can use it without any conference, and you can show your desktop, you can have your camera take your image, which it shows in the corner, and you can record all of that, and then convert it over to something where you can upload it.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, it's valuable, because you already have it, and it's free.
On that same point, we also all have Skype for Business,
Yeah.
and you can do the same thing with that. Set up a web conference without using it as a web conference, and just do a screencast with your free picture in the corner. It's nice.
That's
Also with
Well, but you can combine, Collaborate will combine your desktop with it. So you can have your slides in
cut the material.
being
Cut the
shown,
material.
and you can have your face being captured.
Yes, Skype can do it.
It can capture.
And the
That's
nice
probably
thing about
easier
that
to use than
is
Collaborate.
the files are
Dominating the conversation. It's okay.
She has
Yeah. I see a couple hands. I saw yours a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I see yours too.
I'd like to borrow some videos. Where do I go to find out what is fair use and how much of that I can use in a classroom?
That is the perfect question for this website. If you go to this, how many of you know TED.com already? Already know, right? So in this website, I put in this resource site, but if you go to ed.ted.com/lessons, you can find. Yeah. We will share with this PowerPoint at ed.ted.com/lessons.
Sorry. You need to write it on the board.
Right on the
Okay.
top.
Okay. ED education ed.com/lessons. LESSONS. For example, you are curious about copyright issue and what kind of video are available.
Fair use.
Fair use, and you can go to public domain. Also, this is well-known website, so remix. There is another whole movement of remix and sharing, not necessarily borrow or try to. This is my second. But on this website, you can share, look around other people's videos that are already available, then rate, just go through some step by step, then you can have your own lessons, like within 5 minutes. Some people say 1 minute.
When you mean step by step, we can't edit it?
You cannot edit it, but you can add questions so that, for example, like for this video, what the presenter say, or so make it the video as an interactivity, and add some interactivity. Sorry, I keep mumbling. So that you can have your own lesson. Does it to answer your question?
Let me try one more thing as well, if I can.
Yes.
UH has a policy. And if you simply Google UH's policy, there is a 4-page document that UH has put out about how instructors are to use material for online education.
Where's that one?
I Googled it last night.
UH Online Education Policy?
Copyright, fair use, copyright use. Yep. It's a 4 or 5-page document. Tell you what, this PowerPoint will be on our Emerging Trend website. I will add that link to this PowerPoint so you can get to it. You had a question forever.
So it's actually back to this, because in engineering, the dean is kind of pushing us to consider more online courses. And so, like was pointed out, the faculty handbook says this is the faculty member's property. So the thing that came up in the faculty meetings are that, you record everything, then you leave, and the university runs these videos, has somebody grade the homework and the exams. So you're saying that can happen?
Okay. It's more like, well, I do something additional now. I open source my materials and I make them. So that means they're free for anybody to use once I make them and I put them out there. So that's the whole issue that I had at another school.
Yeah.
It's just a different, instead of copyright, it's fair use. I don't care to control it. Someone wants going.
Anything else?
One thing I do want to add, this is my instructional designer right over here. And if you think I know a lot of stuff, it's only because of her.
Nice. Nice. All right. Do you want to continue with?
Almost finish 10 minutes. But I will go through briefly, like, no, we can wrap up.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do a to be continued. You're going to get that survey in your email. We're going to do, what's that?
I said the cliffhanger.
The cliffhanger. That's right. Here's your cliffhanger. So you're listening. I need to give you an award. So yeah, absolutely. Because I think that'll be fun. It'll be fun for me to put hands on. It'll be fun because I was a teacher. I'm not teaching right now. I'd love to teach. So if you guys will help me with my fulfilling my honor to teach, that would be fantastic. So again, in the mail, within 2 weeks, we'll have a survey to you, and let's make some fun videos.
Sorry, in the survey, could you specify, workshop in general or just for collaborate?
Okay. So who specifically is interested in collaborate, for instance?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, we this might be a thing.
I hope everyone has signed in so we know who is in this audience instead of, putting messages to everybody. We know who this is here. So we like to make sure you get the survey and information.
And here's our cards. My card on one and Linda's card on the other. If you just want to grab out, if you got some specific questions, feel free. Because also one of the things that's really good about this session is you guys helping each other. So I really appreciate the communication going back and forth. Any last questions before we wrap up for you today? Yes, ma'am.
We had mentioned briefly the idea of accessibility. I was wondering.
That's what we're cutting right now. But Sammy, talk a little bit about accessibility.
Recently, the Journal of Applied Instructional Design have an article called Accessibility and Instructional Technology. We frame the discussion. This is a very good article that you might want to check out. If you send us email, then we can give you feedback. And then
What journal is it?
the Applied Instruction, the Journal of Applied Instructional Design. And then, yeah, and then because if you personally interested, because this has been an issue, very quiet issue for so long time, because there are lots of legal issues and technical issues going on. But if you start this issue as personalize it, someone you know who has disabilities, and start to watch 2 videos, one came from Apple and the other one from TED.com. We will also send a link, then start to kind of test the water, to get into these issues. This is the issue that requires our community of practice. Not just one person can solve these issues. This is issues our IT, instructional design team, disabled service team, we all get together and have a more likely take a proactive approach. Make sense? Any questions on that?